Well, good morning, gardeners and homesteaders. I hope everybody's having a fantastic day. And just like that, the garden changes. We have done some replanting, and I'm going to show you what we've replanted and what our hopes are for the fall garden moving forward. And this is mostly going to be in the wild garden because the rest of our gardens are basically fall planted as of now. All right, so it looks a little bit different. I'm gonna start back here in what was the corn bed, and we've fully seeded it. So we've direct seeded everything in the garden as of right now. This garden bed, which was corn, obviously is no longer. We planted in this back row. We came out and we put collards in this row. So it's gonna be one solid row of collards, actually two. I take that back. I think we did 2 rows. And then we did daikon radishes here. And then parsnips, we did 2 double rows. So right here and here is all parsnips. So I really wanted to put the daikon radishes and the parsnips, and I even wanted to put carrots back here because of the compacted soil. But I needed to rotate and I needed to use it appropriately. And so I figured that collards would go better in the back. It just kind of would work better. It's easier because we harvest those a lot. So I positioned them in the back of the bed because it's easier for me to come in and just walk up and harvest those. And the parsnips, you know, they'll drill down into the ground, so they'll help with the compaction, but we don't harvest them all at once. So we'll leave them in until we need them, and then I'll come out and I'll get a few at a time. And the same with the daikon radishes. And the daikon radishes, as a matter of fact, I put a fair amount in, and I may not even harvest all of them. What I'll probably end up doing is, I only have like a couple recipes for them as of right now. One of them is a daikon radish curry. It's really good. The daikon radishes can get so big and drill so deep that we may just leave them there and let them just naturally break down in the soil and release the nutrients, because from my reading, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that they soak up the nutrients, and then as they break down, they re-release them back into the soil. So not only will they feed the soil, but they'll also drill and help with that compaction. So that's what we're hoping happens in this garden bed. And we're gonna eventually just we're gonna work daikon radishes out throughout our entire garden over here, because all of the beds have compaction in the wild garden. So hopefully that'll help. Remember what I was telling you about sowing in warm weather? 2 days and the collards are sprouting up. So we are definitely gonna have some collards if they can make it through the little bit of heat, and we've just been taking care of them. But yep, 2 days and they're already starting to come up. So hopefully we'll see the daikon radishes and stuff like that coming up as well soon. So this bed, which was peppers, which we still have a couple peppers there, and tomatoes in the back, we cleared the tomatoes out. I put a couple of the mustard starts back here, so they're still fairly small. So we'll leave those to grow. And I wanted to plant the mustards behind the tomatoes because they help with root knot nematodes. So moving forward, what I'm gonna try and do is wherever I grow tomatoes, I'm gonna try and grow mustard afterwards and just help with that, so it can help with the root knot nematodes if we have them. And then whatever we don't eat at the end of the year, we will cut and then just let them compost back into the ground. So we'll till them back up into the ground. And so moving forward, that's what we're gonna try and do. Just like that other bed over here, we're gonna try and do the same thing. Even if we don't get a harvest off of them, we can do like a spring planting and get the same effect. But I really do enjoy the mustard, so it should work out well. Now this front row here, or the rest of the bed, I'm sorry, is all carrots. So we've got a double row in the front here, and then right here, we have another double row of carrots. And that will again help with the compaction. So I haven't tested it to see how bad it is, but if I just lean onto it, yeah, it's not very fluffy here. So we're gonna just try and let that do its thing. And we'll let these peppers finish up. And if we get another flesh off of them, fine. And if we don't, we'll cut them, not a big deal. And so that's how I try and maximize the space in my garden, is by doing that, planting underneath or around other plants, knowing that they're going to be ready to come up out of the garden soon, and just using that space to the best of its ability just to maximize the growing of it. Because once these carrots take hold, then we're just going to leave it, and we're not really going to do anything else afterwards. I mean, we're not going to replant. Once the carrots come up, we're going to put this garden bed to bed and just mulch it, feed it, compost it, and let it sit for as long as it needs to sit until spring. If we come over here to my son's bed, we had spotty carrot germination going on through here. What we did is we came in and we put 2 double rows back here of Danvers carrots, and then we just came back and we put on the alfalfa pellets just to help feed that soil over time. It's kind of becoming a habit now where we're just adding it just to kind of beneficial over time. And then when these lima beans are done, we'll probably end up doing a row of radishes here just to kind of finish it out real quick and get us a little bit of radishes for the late fall into winter. So I mean, it's crazy to think about that at this time. I mean, here we are in the beginning of September, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5 beds that just really aren't going to produce much right now. But we still have other things going. We still have tomatoes, we still have peppers and stuff like that. And so as those go, we'll continue to have other things come up in the process that we can harvest and enjoy over time. So I'm pretty excited about that. The fact that the collards have already germinated is just crazy to me. I can't believe it. It's been 2 days and they're just coming up. So we like to come out in the evening, and especially in the heat, and we'll direct sow what we need to. We'll pre-fertilize, we'll amend as needed, and we'll work the soil, we'll sow, and then we'll water. And I usually try and time that either around a light rain or at minimum when the timer is going to come on the next day. So the fact that the timer came on the next day helps. It just spreads that out. And we'll also turn on that drip system at the time of planting as well, just to go ahead and get that soil saturated in any way possible, because right now all the moisture is getting sucked up out of the ground just as fast as it can from the heat. I do need to come out and just kind of get rid of all of this grass in front of it and everything, but this is the whole point of the wild garden. This area just isn't really meant to be landscaped very well or just maintained. It's meant to let things kind of grow and, you know, let the watermelons run wild and stuff like that. But this time of year, it's kind of tough because a lot of things aren't. And I know I put in the peppers and stuff that don't really run wild, but again, it's just kind of one of those things. This is just an area that we wanted it to do its thing and just grow really the way it wants to grow. And so that's what we're gonna do. But if we can get this compaction down in these beds, start making a difference in all of these beds, then we're gonna have a whole new story next year. And this one is really good. This bed right here, as far as the compaction goes, let's see. It's not as bad. Typically I like for my finger to sink all the way up if I lean onto it, so it's not as bad. And we definitely have seen some growth be hindered on the peppers a little bit, but we're not shocked, and it's okay. I mean, really the only way to fix soil compaction appropriately is just keep planting it, keep working it, keep amending it, keep adding to it. And over time, those roots will grow, they will break up the soil, they will break down in there, and they will start to add to it. And so that's what we really want to do. And I mean, it's the only way I know of that I can continue to use this space and still have things grow. Albeit it may not be as mighty as it could be, it's still going to be growing and producing something. And that, for me, that means I'm moving in the right direction. And that's important. I always want to be just moving forward, even if it is slow. You know, the tortoise wins the race. Goodbye.